Throughout history, humans have created remarkable architecture. But it wasn't until the birth of structural steel that gave rise to the modern skyscraper, and then we were truly able to reach for the sky. No other building has inspired, captivated, or received as much acclaim as the majestic structure in the middle of New York City. It is the world's greatest skyscraper, the Empire State Building. At the corner of 34th Street and 5th Avenue in New York City stands the world's greatest skyscraper. There are dozens and dozens of skyscrapers in the world. So why the Empire State Building's fame? Conceived at a time when rich New York industrialists and their architects were racing towards the heavens, the automotive and financial wizard John Jacob Rascom and four-time governor Al Smith had a dream to build the tallest building in the world.
We are on the top of the 86th floor of the Empire State Building, the highest point in the world today that can be reached from a building designed, fashioned, built by the brain, the brawn, the ingenuity, and the muscle of mankind.
The Empire State Building was immediately preceded by the old Waldorf Astoria Hotel, which was demolished in 1930 to make room for the world's greatest skyscraper. The building began its ascent during one of the world's worst economic tragedies, the Great Depression. Ironically, the Depression proved to be a blessing in disguise for the Empire State Building. Its builders were able to recruit the best group of skilled laborers ever to have worked on one building. This was because the construction industry was all but dormant during the dark years of the 1930s. To the credit of the builders, the Starrett brothers, many of those men have been immortalized on a plaque in the lobby, giving a gentle nod of acknowledgement to the great work of the tradespeople who were forever captured in the images by the incomparable social photographer Louis Hine. Never before or since has any building had its history so well documented. Hine's exquisite pictures tell not only the story of its construction, but also the far greater feeling of the pride, the passion, and the dignity of the 6,500 workers who had a hand in its creation. One of the foresights of the builders was the 86th floor observation deck, where over 250 million people have gazed out over the giant city and 5 states towards the horizon, lending itself to a bird's eye view. At the time the building was constructed, most people had never been in an airplane. The Empire State's observation deck was the highest point ever reached by its astonished visitors. The building proved to be revolutionary. Many new construction practices were developed and resolved in the building. The genius of the Starrett brothers was responsible for the invention of many prefabricated practices that are still in use today, but were unique at the time. The foresight of the building's architects, Shreve, Lamb, and Harmon, is legendary, exemplified by the American Society of Civil Engineers, which lists the Empire State Building as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. Serving as a stage for many of the world's most famous personalities and stars, it has become a star in its own right.
How about the top of the Empire State Building?
Oh, yes, that's perfect. It's the nearest thing to heaven we have in New York.
For over 4 decades, when many of the world's great skyscrapers were erected, the Empire State Building remained the tallest in the world. And with its location at 34th Street and 5th Avenue, it represents the ultimate icon, the crown jewel of the world's greatest skyline. The building reflects the spirit of a country. It stands not only as a symbol for New York City, but also as an undisputed artistic monument of international stature. It rose in only 1 year and 45 days, and at $41 million, it came in well under budget. The building survived the economic calamity of the Depression and the impact of a World War II bomber. It is visible from 80 miles away when standing on land, and from well over 100 miles in the distance from an airplane. It is the first thing that a visitor sees when entering the city of New York. It is New York's Great Lighthouse, with a variety of colored lights to represent holidays, events, and memorials the world over. To this day, the Empire State Building remains the #1 tourist attraction in New York City. While it was rising, and as it does today, it provides the best show in town. Its subtle Art Deco grace is a poem itself, and its glass, steel, and stone, its mythic modernism and its regal presence stand alone as the pinnacle of great buildings. The Empire State Building remains an enduring and beloved symbol, secure in its place in the past, the present, and the future. The Empire State Building, the one, the only, the world's greatest skyscraper.